Good morning. There's a lot going on today, and I'm really excited to kind of walk you through it here. Most of you turned in your projects, and so I'm really excited to start digging into those, and hopefully by the end of the week there will be grades posted along with the winners of the Project President of the Eastern Hemisphere competition for running the best campaign. From what I've seen so far, some really great stuff. I really feel like it's tough when I'm not right in front of you to express how incredibly grateful I am for the effort that you've put forward, your resilience through a lot of the technical difficulties that some of you discovered as you went through the process. And I just can't tell you how proud I am of all of you for going through this and doing your best with the circumstances that we have right now. So for most of you, that's in your rear view mirror. Like I said, you'll be getting feedback from this in the next week or so here, hopefully by the end of this week. Going forward, we've got about 2 weeks before we kind of wind things down in the school year, which is kind of crazy to think about. And so I was thinking about what way we should go for the final 2 weeks, and I've gone a lot of different directions in past years. But one of the things that I really focus on is making it real. I really want you to feel like you have the kid gloves off and that we're doing things that are genuine and that are things that are really related to what's going on in the world right now. And so what really spurred my interest in this final unit that we're doing was a couple stories about how there have been companies that have filed for bankruptcy and many companies that are closing shop during the coronavirus. And so what that means is there's a lot of smaller and larger companies that we're seeing kind of go away. And as those companies close their doors, some of you might say like, oh, well, that doesn't really make a difference. But one of the things that's becoming more and more concern is that we are going to see more and more monopolies going forward after the coronavirus, meaning there are going to be large companies that have the share of certain markets. And so what I'm going to do is for the next week or so, we are going to dive into economics again, and we are going to look at what a monopoly is, why it usually is bad, but what are some of the positives as well that can come from monopolies, and what the impact of monopolies during the coronavirus is going to be coming out of this. And it's one of those things where I think it's so cool because I think all of you, when you get this understanding, are going to be beyond a lot of the adults in our world because we're so hyper-focused on what's going on right now, what's happening today, what's going to happen tomorrow, that I think a lot of us lose sight to what is going to happen in the next year, what's going to happen in the next 2 to 5 years. And that's where this is going to have a big impact. The coronavirus, hopefully, within the next year or so, will really wind down and we'll stop seeing effects of it. But what happened during this time, as far as companies closing and as far as companies, like buying up large shares of markets, you might see things like prices rise for goods that you normally buy. I was looking at a couple things that you're going to look at in Canvas, and for example, they talked about how like Nike has 95% of the basketball shoe market. So whatever Nike decides to charge for their shoes, people are going to pay because there just isn't other competition. You can sit there and talk about Reebok and Adidas and different brands that you might buy and see, but Nike basically has a monopoly on the basketball shoe industry. And so this is what we're going to be doing for this next week, and we're going to be applying it to the coronavirus. And I'm super pumped to see you guys do something real and genuine and apply that knowledge to something going on in the world. So you're going to go onto Canvas today and tomorrow, and you're going to go into the economics tab. I think it's Unit 6, Economics 101, and you are going to find an introduction to monopolies. And this is where you're going to gather information. And so some of you might see this as kind of stale, but it is something that you're going to need to be able to apply to what we're doing later in the next week. And so it's really important that you have a solid grasp of what a monopoly is and how it works and why it can be good and why it can be bad. And so you're going to go into Canvas and you are going to complete essentially an investigation into monopolies, an introduction, if you will. And so I hope you enjoy. I hope you really enjoy the clips and dig into it and really get a good understanding. If you have any questions, email me. That's going to be today's lesson as well as tomorrow's. I've got it set for due being on Wednesday or Thursday this week, I think Thursday. And so I won't shoot another video until Wednesday when we have a current global issue, and I'll try to tie that into some of the economics that we're talking about right now. So have a great day, have a great Tuesday, and we'll talk to you again on Wednesday. Thanks.